Is that make sense what I shared so far?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So can I ask a question if you don't mind?
Of course, please. That's the whole idea that here we
Okay.
speak.
So yeah, it just in continuation to what you had mentioned in the previous session. Basically, everybody knows who they are best, right? As you mentioned, and everybody has their fortes, skills that they can enhance and take their career path to a certain level after leveraging your training for the next 3 months or 6 months.
Mhm.
So actually being a actual user and using this right now, I'm not personally, I don't know how the admin guy who does all these Azure technologies on all these modules in, but I do support, and my forte is project management, basically, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
And I have the capacity to take the views and be a liaison and try to get the deliverables done. So in this training, can you give us a high level flavor, like after 3 months, if I tell you like my forte is this, can I achieve this? I'm not good at coding, so I don't need to know the NTA administration flavor part of this MS Dynamics. There are
Right.
security models also, which I know, like, and there is the
Mhm.
email piece, which we are allowed to send email through MS Dynamics also.
Mhm.
Like, they have auto notifications feature. So just can you give us a high level uh, flavor, I would say, to everybody? Like, suppose I tell my forte is this, where do you see all of us, or who as me also? That's my question.
Right. Thank you. Do you
You're welcome.
see do you see my desktop here slide?
Yes, I see.
Yes.
Target candidate.
Okay, target candidate. That's why I want to make sure that I address some of the people like you who said, "Hey, I do not want to go all the details, but what's the role or what do I think that in next after 3 months can I position myself?"
Yeah.
With in a raw job role is not only going to give you freedom of not to go to office every day, plus in
Yeah.
you will be better positioned to find a job, work from home. Is that what you are asking,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Awesome. So what you are looking at, I know some of you, even many of you in this room right now are also saying, hey, I don't have an IT background, but I want to transition myself IT. How can I do that? And as I was getting this kind of question, I put my hat into that. And I thought, okay, who do I want to be in the program? Or who do you want, what role you want to take? That's all up to you. On the left side, you said non-IT roles. So this is all what we consider non-IT role. We do not want to know how all this product works. Think of that analogy that I have been using before. The car. All I want to go from point A to point B. I don't need to you tell me how engine of Honda or engine of Lexus, BMW, Lamborghini, Bentley works. I just do not need to know any of those for you. But as a non-business guy, I do want you know the difference, the features difference between Honda, Lexus, Bentley, at least know those features. That's what I'm expecting. And also we expect from the people who is going to be working in those type of project, ERP and this. So on non-IT like roles, or you can consider business analyst. That some those who is thinking of starting. That hey, I have all this certification, project management, and training in the community. Outside the community, I have those, but I cannot still find a job because some of those project management job. Let's face it, it's just like I feel like it's just like they're disrespecting you, who you are. Some of them are going to offer you that type of money and hassling. It's not worth talking to those recruiters somewhere around the world. They have no idea how business works in this country. So as a business analyst, you can take a business analyst, you understand that's all the features of all this, and then you understand each business marketing side, your supply chain side, your customer sales side, or your operation side, or your inventory side, or your finance side, whatever problem they are facing, that you are the person will be able to get that information from them. and make sure communicate with them. This is the problem you are trying to solve. Is that correct? Business is going to say, yes, it's correct. You exactly understand what problem I'm trying to solve. Once that is done, then some of you may have experience in the domain, some type of, some of you worked in let's say in healthcare or pharma or nursing or other retail, warehouse, whatever you have that is great. If any type of industry you work different role, non-IT role is going to help you to start talking their language, the business language, then they will look at you not only subject matter expert, they are industry expert, plus how the implementation they're going to make or what product they're bringing in cloud, you'll know. So if they ask you, hey, I'm thinking that, to have a car is going to be, if I push my gas within seconds, it's going to give me 60, 70 miles. Is Honda going to do it? And you say, no, Honda is not capable of doing that. That if that's your number one priority, then maybe you need to look into like a BMW. It does seconds, it goes like that, right? Because of this, you don't need to know all the details. But, oh, good, that means my budget from 20,000 budget to I have to consider budget double my budget. And some of this business has the money. All they just want to know that this is my priority. From 0 to 60 within seconds I can go. So that communication you can do. Okay. So, and then some of you saying, I don't like to do any of this and I'm very green. How do I get into it? Quickest way is testing, because we need people just work with the business analyst, just sit there to understand as they are going through. You are going to be listening over and over. Business is going to keep telling you, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. Then whenever your technical team says, okay, I have the solution for you, now go test it. And then business doesn't have time for test it. They need people like who is doing software testing. And then because you know what business wanted, so you'll make sure that as software gets more and more improved or more features coming in, that you will be able to not only testing everything from the previous did not break, plus it meets business need, and then you'll do pass and fail. That testing. Project management, some of you have some project management experience, but it never been in one focused area. This is also like what we have right now. I have in my program, I have more than 10 project managers in my team. That so I don't. There are smaller groups of each business unit, finance side, your account payable side, account receivable side, right? Smaller project manager that they need to make sure work closely with them, know their day-to-day operation, and find out what requirement they have, right? All those things that project manager can focus. At the same time, these project manager also knows some of the capability of Dynamics 365. So that way, if they say, can Dynamics do that? Some of those things you might be able to answer, some of them you don't. So then you're going to come back and say, I'll get back to you. Let me go to the experts. So this is all communication pretty much. You're communicating with the business, non-IT focused. Now, some of you have an IT focused. So if you say IT focused and then you want to take it to next level. So throughout the sessions, we are going to do, as I said, it's going to be experience. Those who the DevOps, who heard about DevOps, right? Many of you heard about DevOps. What is it, right?
Yes. Yes.
We are going to be using DevOps, that where some uses Jira, some uses like Microsoft platform DevOps and Azure DevOps. So for our case, Jira is not one. We are going to implement that DevOps on Azure, and then as BA, QA, and SME is gathering all the requirement, instead of dumping all of this stuff in a document, nowadays it becomes a more Scrum and Agile model. You guys already know that, right? So we are going to do that model in live with you guys, and others can within the class. You're going to see that this is how BA is gathering all the requirements, and this is how BA is documenting it. And when it gets document gathered, and somebody, project manager, product manager, on the right side you see the program manager, product manager, these are all different roles. Some of you say that, hey, I have this, I don't need to know all this. How can I position myself? These are real things I will need. That way you position yourself, hey, you might be able to doing product management as your one of the things, hey, and I really like to own this, but I want to manage people. I don't want to do any other communication, but I want to take the ownership something. And then if I take the ownership of something, I'm really good at doing that. That's product manager role within the Dynamics 365. So you say that role, maybe you can take it. Somebody might say, hey, I like to manage people. Also, I want to coach, mentor people, program manager, right? So that's the role you're like taking. But at the same time, as we are going to do some of those experience session, that time you are going to say, maybe you're going to shifting product management to program management or program lead, doesn't matter. It's all interchangeable depending on how big implementation it is. Okay. Is that your question so far? And the delivery lead, those who know the what's delivery
Yeah,
lead,
yeah,
anybody knows here what the delivery lead does usually?
yes. Basically, whatever the timeline has been set in the project, MS project, there is some, it helps to see if the project is lagging or you need to get in some good resources, the critical path management and all those stuff.
Yes, you are on the right track. Exactly. Delivery lead is not a project manager. Those who is saying project manager, no, delivery lead is making sure just keeping the business happy, business who is writing check, and also business who is sponsor, who is your kind of supporter, that you are delivering your work, your people are doing a good work, and you are keeping your brand is nice. Enrique. So those are the things he does, delivery lead behind the scene. He doesn't need to be in every single place. He is the main guy. Thing goes wrong, it's his fault. Thing goes
It's
good,
it,
right?
it, he is responsible to keep the light on.
Yes, right. Tal. Yeah, exactly. He's the responsible for everything, pretty much at the top. But
So
sometimes,
in Scrum, basically the person who is the main, they call sometimes is the most active person in the Scrum lead. Same way, right? Delivery
yes,
lead.
they are
You're
delivery
referring.
lead have a Scrum lead, Scrum coach, and then all the others, everybody report to him. Pretty much, this is the guy, everyone comes to it. And most of the time, depending on how big the implementation,
I
this
get certified in 3 months.
this delivery lead is way more above than anyone else, because sometimes they have to have 10 different projects running on Dynamics 365 or your ERP implementation. This guy has to make sure he has to be aware of that. Okay,
I have a question.
sure, go ahead.
Is it similar to the any resource who also manages the release management?
Not there. That's what happens on the program manager or project manager. Delivery lead does not go through any that level. Think of delivery lead is in a way in a company CEO type of role. It's taking top level, but all the others is general, major generals. Everybody support him.
He is
Thank you.
like a CTO. Yes, he's the manager of all the project managers.
Right, and in a way, when the CTO knows the technology vision, but CTO does not know the finance, right? He doesn't know that the budget is running out or not. Do we have the capex, that investment? That's usually CIO knows that, right?
Yes, maybe it's CIO because delivery it's very.
Yep, you're
It's
right. CIO is more like CIO role than anything else. Correct. Because he's always CIO, always in touch with CEO. So CEO, okay, now do we have to invest in our technology or in our people? What do we need in order for business or CEOs to increase his profitability, increase his shareholder value, increase his the brand recognition, whatever that is, right? Then he goes to CIO. So delivery lead similar to that. So this is what we will be covering throughout this. So as you can see that next 3 months is not enough. So that's why my plan of doing these classes is like one day or a week, we're going to be dedicating 1 day, 2 days, try to giving you guys skill area, job skill area from ERP side, CRM area, and make sure you understand. And then it's going to be a coaching mentoring session. And then some of you say, can you take a look at my resume? So we'll have a professional resume writer also with us to go through this, help you once we know your story is clear, that which side you are getting. And then we are going to work with you in coaching mentoring session that focus on this area because this is your strength. And make sure as we go touch different areas, you can highlight those skills or those experience and also get some hands-on experience so you can kind of position yourself for those roles.